Trade alert! Flight team stand up! Why you lie? It's July. DeMar DeRozan is now an official Sacramento King. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, I thought the Lakers had this one. There's two trades or signings I feel like the Lakers have fumbled on. Now, if you haven't been sleeping under a rock, DeMar has been on the trade block, honestly, since like the trade deadline, right? Or even like last year. I remember it was like talked about ever since that. I think it was like the Drew League or that one little league LeBron and DeMar was like they teamed up in like last year that the Lakers was trying to make a move on DeMar. Now, following a year later, they hit everybody with the unexpected. I did not expect to ever wake up or see the day DeMar is going to be in a Kings uniform. I don't even know how to feel about this one because none of those teams I just mentioned are my teams. I'm a Warrior fan, but it looks a little bit strange. I'm not going to lie to you. First of all, I don't even know how. I mean, we need to see what the trade, details are. We got a lot of, cool clips to see. But Woj, what they like to call it, has dropped the banger. The Kings have agreed on a signed trade that will land DeMar on a 3-year deal and send Harrison Barnes to the Spurs and a half-eaten apple and a couple of bag of potato chips and cash, basically just for DeMar. So basically, DeMar got traded for Harrison Barnes, a considerable top 15 draft bust of all time. How was half these trades going through, bro? Because last time we checked, DeMar is an all-star, borderline superstar, player of the league. Like, how is this even going through? So the Kings literally got DeMar borderline for free. Nah, this can't be right. I know we got a couple of clips. We got Chaz and we got shout to the flight mic. They're gonna be talking about these trades or the trade deadline. But in the meantime, while we're here, let's see if there's any other free agencies or trades that happened over the last 2 days since I last checked them out. You have Sidney Lowe is joining JB Bickerstaff coaching with the Detroit Pistons. You have ESPN story tells a Ford Sharpie dude is agreeing on a deal with the Nuggets. What? I'm just finding out about this. Sharpie, bruh. Why? Now, if you watch the Warriors games this year, on the reactions, Sharpie was actually a pretty good, solid role player that grew on us middle of the season. You know what I'm saying? We'll hit about like 3 or 4 threes throughout the second and third quarter. Why are you betraying the Warriors and going to the Nuggets, Sharpie? Now, let's be honest. Most likely this wasn't even his decision. Because like I said, this guy is a consistent cool casual role player. So I don't even think when you're at that even like level in the league, you don't even have that much of a say where you want to go. So I'm not going to do too much bashing on him. But, bruh, why did the Warriors get rid of Sharpie, bro? He was like, a promising, developing, like a young core player that we could use when it's time to rebuild by the time Steph decides to retire. See, this is the things that that got me questioning the staff. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe they might be trying to do it and set it up for something else. As you guys see, we did sign Buddy Hield and 2 new players such as Nick Anderson and another cool, consistent 10-day contract player. I don't remember his name. But I hope they didn't do that just to release him or just let him go. But, hey, man, I wish we could have kept Sharpie, bro. I'm not going to sit up here and act like, he didn't do nothing. Like, he definitely produced a little bit of something throughout the Warriors season. Next up, you have the Pistons that actually been doing a couple of some moves. Have y'all been beeping? The Pistons have been involved. Every single, trade or signing, they're, involved in, the second or third team or the first team or whatever. But ESPN, Simon Fettuccini returning to the Pistons on a 2-year, $16 million deal. We have, I already just read the Sharpie one. They said he averaged 15 points. The dude that we just read for the Pistons in 16 games after arriving in a trade deadline deal with the Jazz. His agent, Sam Goldfielder, finishing up the deal. Okay. How do y'all Pistons fans feel about that? Is that a significant deal? The New York Knickerbockers, Johnny Bryant, has agreed on a deal to become the assistant coach, to become the associate head coach. What does associate head coach mean? I thought is it assistant they meant? Is it a typo? What? with the Cleveland Cavs tell ESPN. ESPN story on Miles Bridges agreeing to a 3-year, $75 million deal to return with the Charlotte Hornets. Miles Bridges got the big bag. Now, if you guys obviously don't remember, over the past year, I think he just got back into the league ever since that incident. How do y'all feel about that? Hey, he got a complete second chance. He made use of it. I don't think he got into trouble one single time. I don't even think he got a technical foul. Honestly, the only thing that I do remember is that I do remember that game he had against my Warriors where they was running up the score on him because he was busting that ass, and then Miles Bridges tried to scrap with I believe it was Ionis. That's from Brooklyn, and yeah, he seen, you know what I'm saying, why he should have not tried to argue with Ionis. And I did say a little bit about Bridges, which was facts, but nonetheless, I do think Bridges is a talented player who is an all-star. He did get a second chance, and he's making use of it. How do y'all in the league feel about this, especially Charlotte Hornets fans? Is this something you're excited for? We just read the Miles Bridges thing. We have the Wizards declining an $11 million option on guard Landry Shamet. Oh, yeah, we remember this. We were at a couple of the Wizards games this season. A career 38% field goal. So where's he going to end up to? Devontae Graham, a second-round pick to the Charlotte Hornets. Oh, no, they're trading Devontae. The Sperms are trading Devontae Graham and a second-round pick to the Charlotte Hornets. The Hornets will waive Graham, allowing him to become a free agent. Wow, that's messed up. So if you guys actually can remember, Graham actually played with the Hornets before. They traded him to the Sperms, and now the Sperms traded him back practically for a couple of eaten potato chips. And then the Hornets literally just cut him. Hey, I know a lot of Warriors should sign him. We can get him for the low. Graham, if you don't remember, I believe won a three-point shot contest about 3 or 4 years ago. I think before the pandemic, or he at least came in second place. Warriors make a move on this. We can get him for the low. Shit. Caleb Martin is agreeing with the deal with the Sixers. Sliding into the starting power forward role. This got to be a typo. Caleb Martin is like 6'5.5". Get the fuck out of here. Him playing power forward. Caleb Martin playing power forward. Yo, Woj, bro, how many shots you had today, dog? I think it's like the second typo I seen you do, bro. My man's trying to get that damn engagement tweets out. Ain't no way Caleb Martin is a motherfucking power forward, bro. What? We just read that off with Martin. You have Wagner signing a 5-year maximum deal with the Orlando Magic. Wow, $224 million. And that can be actually worth the $269 million. How do y'all feel about that, Magic fans? I mean, shit, he is one of the role players outside of Paolo. Paolo's an all-star promising franchise player. And you got Wagner right here. You have DeMar DeRozan joining Kenny Atkinson's coaching staff with the Cleveland Cavaliers. The only reason I remember DeMar DeRozan is from the college NCAA, I believe in like the early 2000s. I haven't seen him play in the league. I think he went to the Pacers and played like 5 games. I don't remember. Next up, we already read the Buddy Hield thing. All right, so it looks like we're all caught up on the trades and stuff like that. I mean, you got P.J. Dozier going to the Wolves. Who else? Alec Burks agreed to a 1-year deal with the Miami Heat. Who else are we missing out? Yeah, Timberwolves landing a 1-year deal free agent Joe Ingles. I think we caught up to everything. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anything. I mean, this is like G League stuff. I mean, yeah, G Leaguer. Read this right here. So, 18-year-old Dink Pat is signing with the G League Mexico City Capital Lanes for next season. Sources, at 17, Pat was the youngest known pro American history. I mean, hasn't there been a couple of 17-year-olds though? Like, wasn't Kobe? And I believe Jermaine O'Neal was 17 too, coming out of high school to the NBA. What do y'all feel about this? All right, we got Damian Lee, who is actually cousins of Steph Curry, going to the Phoenix Suns on a 1-year deal. Nice to see. The Lakers are hiring Nate McMillan and Scott Brooks as top assistant coaches with the J.J. Redick, the staffing and everything like that. How do y'all feel about the Lakers staff? And if you guys didn't peep LeBron's new deal, he got like 140 or something million. I believe he took a pay cut too. Oh, here it is. It's 104 million actually right here. This is reported on July 3rd. Bro, it's crazy. We're only like 3 days out from like the last time we read the free agency. There's so much to catch up on, and it's only the DeMar DeRozan trade, which is like the significant thing. But there's so much others. You got the Warriors are planning to hire Terry Stotts as lead assistant coach and Jerry Stackhouse as assistant. Ooh, this is interesting. This is my first time hearing this. And now, obviously, Steve Kerr is still the head coach. If you guys know, Jerry Stackhouse is a Hall of Fame player. He played, I believe, with the Mavericks and the Miami Heat back in the day. He was part of that Miami Heat championship run in 2006. So Jerry Stackhouse has some NBA championship knowledge, which is good because, you know, we're bringing in another championship veteran that knows his shit, you know what I'm saying, to the Warriors lineup. And then you have Terry Stotts. I feel like I've heard his name before, but I don't remember where it would, like, you know, ring a bell on. But I'm actually happy to see this is unique. Okay. Now, yeah, we're officially all caught up. Kyle Anderson with the Warriors. All right, let's check out some NBA Chaz. He has some 2-on-1s with DeMar going to the Kings, and then he has some exclusive behind the scenes with DeMar with the ovation, and then you have the man Flight Mike breaking down the trade.
DeMar DeRozan is signing with the Sacramento Kings on a 3-year, $76 million deal, and it's a sign and trade.
I'm not gonna lie to you, DeMar needs to get more money than that, bro. $70 million is not enough. I feel like DeMar is capable of getting at least, like, because you just seen the Franz Wagner dude get like $200 million. What the fuck? You know, DeMar has a light year bigger bag than Franz Wagner. I'm gonna be honest, Franz Wagner is a cool role player, but I don't think he's gonna be in the league in the next 3 to 4 years. You know, DeMar has been a solid 10-plus year veteran, you know what I'm saying, all-star, you know what I'm saying, and everything. DeMar deserves at least $200 million, minimally $150 million. What the fuck? Yeah, I just caught on to that now. How do y'all feel about that one?
Sending Harrison Barnes to San Antonio and Chris Duarte and 2 second-round picks and cash to the Chicago Bulls. And DeMar and his representatives met with the Kings earlier today, where apparently De'Aaron Fox was in attendance to convince DeMar to join the Kings.
Oh, look at Fox and De'Aaron. Shout out Fox. If y'all already know, he FTC. But Fox, who told you to be a GM, bruh? I mean, let's be honest. I don't even know why I'm really calling it out because it's not like DeMar was coming to the Warriors. But I will be honest with you. I'm not a fan of none of these teams. But I would have liked to see DeMar in a Lakers uniform. I feel like that would have been the top tier best thing, you know what I'm saying, chemistry-wise to do. If you guys don't know, you know what I'm saying, even like DeMar's background, he's from literally L.A. He's from Compton, you know what I'm saying. He was just premiering in like the whole Kendrick Lamar and everything situation. So the entire city of L.A. is like has, you know, DeMar's back. So he would have had the straight full court home advantage. And also, you know, DeMar's up there in age, like 34 or 33 or something like that. He could have literally retired with the Lakers. I feel like it would have been a better fit, just personally me. But maybe he sees a different vision with the Sac Kings. I mean, to be honest, it kind of low-key is a smart move. If you look at the entire Sac Kings roster, they're a young roster. I don't think nobody on the team is probably, I think Harrison Barnes was the oldest one on the team, like at 30-plus years old. Nobody's like over the age of like 25 or 27, you know what I'm saying, on the entire Sac Kings roster. They've consistently got to the first or second round of the playoffs the last 3 years, I believe. I mean, I don't fuck with Sabonis. He's a trash and has no talent, you know what I'm saying, as a power forward or a big man center in the league, and he's also a dirty player. I'm happy, though, for Fox in the DeMar DeRozan combination, though. Definitely will see a couple of more Kings games. So, hey, what do y'all feel about that one?
And now DeMar is extremely ecstatic, well, they both are, to be playing with each other. He joins a young team, but extremely good, along with Sabonis, Malik Monk, Kevin Huerter, Keegan Murray. The Kings are going to be exciting now with DeMar DeRozan to make that push in what is a tight race in the Western Conference, and it's going to be tough as well. And he picked...
Hey, this NBA next NBA season is going to be valid, bro. This NBA season is definitely going to be up there with, like, the hype coming back in right after the pandemic. Like, come on, like, you have Bronny with the Lakers. You have all these NBA trades. Clay not with the Warriors no more. PG with the Sixers. Some of these new draft picks that can make substantial, like, impacts. And then after that, you have the 2025 NBA draft. The NBA season is going to shoot back up and everything in terms of, like, popularity, bro, compared to, like, the last, like, couple of years. Oh, man, it's exciting, dog.
Kings over teams like the Lakers and the Heat. So it's another L for the Lakers, unfortunately,
yeah, Lakers
for
missed
Lakers
out.
fans. But let me know in the comment section, where do you think this move puts the Kings in the tight Western Conference? I still have OKC as one of the best teams in the West.
I mean, let's be honest. The Warriors are blowing out all them other teams. The Kings,
This
any
move for the
others.
Kings, I really like it.
So we're still
They've
going to
got plenty of
championship.
three-point
This
shooters.
doesn't affect the
Sabonis is just a
Warriors title
beat
run
down
next year.
in the post.
Relax.
And now De'Aaron Fox and DeMar DeRozan running the show. They're going to be...
All right, next up, shout out to Chaz on that one. We got the
DeMar
next
DeRozan
2-on-1.
just signed-
DeMar walks out to a huge ovation from Kings crowd at the sign with Sacramento. I want to guess it's the Summer League because obviously this
A
team...
3-year,
Yeah, they started
$76 million plus deal to join the Sacramento Kings. And then straight after signing that, he walked out into the Sacramento Kings stadium where they've got Summer League going. And here's the crowd's reaction.
Wow. DeMar is a king. Sacramento Kings. I mean, yeah, it's both on both sides, but no pun intended. But nah, all jokes aside, DeMar is really a Sac king. Like, it's like one of those like trades where like you like an NBA player is just gonna look. You can't imagine them in that jersey, you know. And they played the Not Like Us. Yo, the track is everywhere. That's fire. Is that CJ Stroud in the cut? I can't tell. That's fire. Hey man, what do y'all feel about this Kings? About the Sacramento Kings, this trade. Next up, we got last but not least, shout out to the Flight Mike. With the report
want to take back
on
contracts,
DeMar.
significant
We'll speed the clip up a little bit. We don't gotta watch the full thing, but just tap into everything. You might have some extra info. We don't know.
Another domino appears to have fallen in NBA free agency. One of the biggest marquee free agents has officially made his decision as to where he wants to play ball next. So before we get to the content, we are less than 40,000 subscribers away from getting to 1 million subscribers.
Woo,
I wanna
get the
thank
boy
you guys from the bottom of my heart
to
for
a
supporting me,
million.
to achieve this goal that I've been working
You know,
for.
actually, the fun thing is, bro, if y'all don't know, I've known, bro, Flight Mike has known me since I was in like 10th grade, bro. He's actually one of the very few, like, you know what I'm saying, people in the YouTube and streaming community that have like known me since I was like a jit. Like, I'm talking about like voice ain't even crack or nothing. Like, I mean, voice ain't even like it wasn't deep or nothing at that.
For
And
over a
everything.
decade. If you want to check us out
Shout
on
out to
TikTok,
them, man.
Instagram, or Twitter, links to that's in the description down below as well. And now that we get all that out of the way, cue the intro.
Ooh, okay. I like the production though. Ooh, I like the production. Flight Mike, 10 out of 10, bro. 10 out of 10. That's a fire ass damn intro. I might take some inspiration. I ain't gonna lie.
212. What's going on, everybody? DeMar DeRozan had a remarkable resurgence with the Chicago Bulls. At the time that DeRozan went to the Bulls, people didn't think he'd perform as well as he did. People didn't expect the Chicago Bulls to be as successful as they were during the 2021 to 2022 season. And I think people forget, with a fully healthy DeMar DeRozan, Lonzo Ball, and Nikola Vucevic, this team looked like the best team in the Eastern Conference. DeMar DeRozan had a career year for himself at his age 32 season, averaging 28 points per game, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, and this man just started sinking 35% of his threes. Unfortunately, we know what would happen. Zach LaVine would come back, and that would kind of mess with their chemistry. Lonzo Ball wouldn't see the court ever since getting injured during that season, and the Chicago Bulls were in NBA purgatory. They weren't good enough to compete for the playoffs, but they weren't terrible enough to get a good draft pick. And it's really unfortunate, man, because the way they played during that time when they were fully healthy was like lightning in a bottle. And DeMar DeRozan even acknowledges that, saying the feeling, the vibe, the energy that was around when we had that run in 2021 to 2022, I want the city and all these players to experience that again, and for myself too. It's always easy to complain and say what's not, but I made it clear that this is where I want to be and I want to ride it out, and I don't want to go anywhere. They know it, everyone knows my stance, I lay it down from this perspective. I want to come back. Everybody else, figure out what you need to figure out, and that's just how I look at it, so I don't stress or worry about what's what. I made it clear that this is where I want to be. The powers that be just need to figure out what needs to happen. Everybody knows my mindset. Billy Donovan and management even praised DeMar DeRozan's leadership with the Bulls' young core and lauded his steady personality through trying times, following a season in which DeRozan led the NBA in minutes played and fourth quarter scoring. The Bulls executive vice president even said DeMar's been great for us for 3 years. He's been invested in the city of Chicago, and he's been really great to our young guys. So both sides are interested in continuing. But then everything changed during the NBA draft a few weeks ago. You see, at the time, the Chicago Bulls already did something that may have miffed DeMar DeRozan slightly, trading Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey, which, if you're DeMar DeRozan, you're entering your age 35 season, you're enjoying the fact that you're the focal point of the Chicago Bulls, and you're averaging career highs in points per game and efficiency. But when you see me that the Bulls are trading for a player in his early 20s that's about the same size as you, that plays the same positions as you, obviously you're going to feel some type of way. Now, you can make an argument that Josh Giddey doesn't exactly play the same position as DeMar DeRozan. Rather, it's more of a point guard, more of a point forward, someone that is going to facilitate the offense. If anything, Josh Giddey is coming in to take the place of Lonzo Ball. But the final nail in the coffin was on draft night, where the Bulls really had an opportunity that they just couldn't refuse. Now,
I remember Kenny Beecham was talking about that. Like, they felt like the Bulls just, like, swept everything under the rug. Not swept everything under the rug, but, like, wrong term, but, like, just kind of was just chilling on the side, not really caring to sign and trade people.
This year's NBA draft isn't that special. You might find some depth later on in the draft. You may find some solid role players, or you may find a diamond in the rough that might become an all-star someday, similar to 2013, where Rudy Gobert and Giannis Antetokounmpo became stars. But a player that was consistently mentioned as the potential top overall pick in this year's NBA draft throughout this season was Matas Buzelis. And if you look at mock drafts throughout the year, you would have seen him at the very top multiple times. But Matas Buzelis had a huge slide on draft night. He wasn't drafted into the top 3 or top 5 or even the top 10. He fell just outside of the top 10 to the 11th overall pick in the NBA draft. This is a guy that was ranked top 5 in his recruiting class, is 6'10", is incredible defensively, and could score in bunches, but he could definitely use some development in his jump shot. But regardless, it's a great risk to take with the 11th overall pick in a weak draft. However, Matas Buzelis also plays the same position as DeMar DeRozan. So you kind of get an idea that at this point, DeMar DeRozan is being pushed out. You're trading Alex Caruso, who's a win-now piece, for Josh Giddey, who's a player that you're trying to develop, drafting the 19-year-old Matas Buzelis. And if you go back to what DeMar DeRozan wanted from the Bulls during this offseason, it doesn't seem like these two were aligned. This kind of reminds me of what Damian Lillard wanted from the Blazers last year. DeRozan was asked what he wanted management to do during the offseason, and he said, I wanted a competitive team, a team that gives us a chance to make a run. Since I've been here, we've dealt with a lot. My first year was a team that we planned on being with, but to lose a star point guard in Zoe, Zach LaVine getting hurt later that year, we had all the pieces in play. I don't know if a black cat ran in front of us or we broke a mirror, but giving us a chance to be competitive and not just a team that fights for a play-in game. So with the trading of Caruso for Josh Giddey and the drafting of Matas Buzelis, two players that pretty much play the same position as DeRozan, and then you consider the fact that the Bulls have been struggling to trade Zach LaVine all year long, you kind of get a realistic look of where this team is. Sure, maybe the Bulls were trying to do their best to get DeMar DeRozan some help, but you can't do that whenever you have a player like Zach LaVine under contract. Not to say that Zach LaVine's a bad player at all whatsoever, but you're talking about a guy that was injured this past year, that is being overpaid for his position, whose contract doesn't expire until the 2027 to 2028 season. And he has a player option in the 2026 to 2027 season, and you could best believe that Zach LaVine's probably going to opt into that. Meaning that the Chicago Bulls can't really compete with Zach LaVine on the roster, so they might as well start a rebuild and have Zach LaVine be the focal point of the offense so they could boost up his value and eventually trade him, which means that DeMar DeRozan no longer fits into this team. DeMar DeRozan had a very interesting offseason. We all know that this man was drafted by the Toronto Raptors, which means that he was pretty good friends with Drake. I mean, going back to the 2021 season, this is what he had to say about Drake.
But besides basketball, everything, just the reassurance of like, you know, that was my partner. That was a friend. That was a friend of mine that was like, man, get away from everything. I know it's crazy. I couldn't even turn on TV that day. Phone was going crazy. I just went over there and we sat and talked for hours. Ate, sat and talked. And I think more than anything, just him being there for me as a friend. Right. First and foremost, you know, and no matter what, you know, when it comes to him, he'll forever have a friend in me and loyalty out of me because, you know, he cared.
Yeah, he was there for you.
He was there for me when everything was just going crazy, you know.
And then on the 4th of July, Kendrick Lamar dropped his Not Like Us music video, which is a Drake diss. And originally I thought he was shouting out Derrick Rose when he said that.
I was just about to, like, say, like, I wonder how Drake feels now that, I mean, to be honest, like, Drake definitely can't really say nothing because, like, DeMar and Kendrick are around probably, like, maybe not the same neighborhood, but around, like, the same area. Definitely, like, the same city in, like, L.A. or at least, like, you know, just in L.A. in particular. So, I mean, you can't really say that he's really playing both sides or switch his side because it's like he's not going to rep his hometown or, you know what I'm saying, his own culture and everything like that. So what is y'all take on that? Because I did see that a couple of times on social media saying, oh, DeMar looks like he picked a side. I wonder how Drake feels about that. And then I just seen this interview that was old, actually, that what, you know, DeMar said. But
I'm glad D-Rose came home. Y'all didn't deserve him either.
But you can clearly see in the music video that's DeMar DeRozan. Now, DeMar DeRozan is from California, so it does make sense that he's friends with Kendrick Lamar as well. But given the fact that DeRozan is from California, one could assume that this latter part of his career, there are two things he wants. He wants, one, to win a championship, and two, he wants to be back in California. Now, originally, I thought that California team was going to be the Los Angeles Lakers.
It should have been the Lakers.
Ironically, with JJ Redick, DeMar DeRozan thought he was really close to joining the Lakers.
Was the Lakers thing even remotely close?
Yeah, it was. To my knowledge, I thought it was a done deal. I remember I took a trip to Mexico just to get away because I could just feel the anticipation of everything and to play. So I was like, I'm gonna get away for a couple days, take my mind off it. And by the time I come home, be free agency, hey, signing with the Lakers. Sleep one day, I'm asleep one morning in Mexico. I get a call from Cal Lowry, and he said, they just made the trade for Russ. What's going on? I thought the deal was done for you to go to Lakers, and I was like, I'm confused.
So they got Russ instead of, I didn't know that DeMar was either Russ or DeMar.
I'm looking at my phone.
Lakers sold that one. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Like, damn, that did happen. Well, I guess that's out the window. Like,
But in order for this to have worked out, the Los Angeles Lakers would need to make another trade, and LeBron James would need to take a pay cut, and there was a huge question of whether the fit would work with LeBron James, DeMar DeRozan, and Anthony Davis. So then you look at the next team, the Los Angeles Clippers. They lost Paul George, and they just signed James Harden to a huge contract, and as a result of that, they don't really have the cap space for DeMar DeRozan anymore. So now there are two California teams that make sense. You can rule out the Golden State Warriors because DeRozan just wouldn't fit into that offense, so you only have one team left, the Sacramento Kings. And there is some history between the Sacramento Kings and DeMar DeRozan. He's praised players on the Sacramento Kings before.
Keegan went up against and guarded you a few times tonight. Your overall thoughts on him after playing?
He's gonna be good. Athletic, young. You see the raw talent he had. Give him some time, some experience.
So Adrian Wojnarowski reported that the Sacramento Kings were really close to acquiring DeMar DeRozan.
Mario, the Sacramento Kings, they've been talking this week, and they're going to need a third team involved in a sign and trade. Chicago, while they certainly are willing to facilitate helping DeMar DeRozan get more than the mid-level exception on a team that doesn't have cap space, they don't want to take back contracts, or certainly significant contracts. They'll need a third team to route a bigger salary to. But those conversations continue. Listen, I think there are some other scenarios for DeMar DeRozan, but I think Sacramento right now is the team to watch.
And then on Saturday, DeMar DeRozan made it official. According to Adrian Wojnarowski's sources via Tim Bontemps, the Sacramento Kings agreed on a sign and trade that will land DeMar DeRozan on a 3-year deal, sending Harrison Barnes to the San Antonio Spurs, along with Chris Duarte, 2 second-round picks, and cash to the Chicago Bulls. So for me, this type of deal always depends on the amount of money that DeMar DeRozan will get. And to be honest, this deal is insane. DeMar DeRozan is signing a 3-year, $70 million contract to join the Sacramento Kings, teaming up with De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis to keep the Sacramento Kings in the Western Conference arms race. The Kings will also send the Spurs a 2032 unprotected pick swap, sources tell ESPN. So DeMar DeRozan is heading over to Sacramento to team up with De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis. For the Sacramento Kings, this is a no-brainer. DeMar DeRozan has been performing incredibly well into his 30s, and to get him on a $25 million a year contract, it's certainly not an overpay. It's not necessarily the move that on paper is going to rocket the Sacramento Kings to the top of the Western Conference, but it wouldn't shock me if this move is the difference between them making deep runs into the playoffs or just being a first-round exit or a play-in team. For DeMar DeRozan,
I ain't gonna lie, I definitely see him still a first-round exit. Like, it's gonna make a damn impact. It's gonna definitely make them a lot more exciting to watch. I ain't gonna lie, the Kings was high-key in the rotation just a little bit. But in terms of you're expecting them to go to the top of the West,
this is easily the most
chill
competitive
out.
team he has ever joined
Pipe it
since
down.
the Chicago Bulls in the first half of that 2021 season that we were talking about earlier in this video, or the Toronto Raptors teams that were always getting decimated by LeBron James in those Eastern Conference playoff runs. I think it's a great move for both sides, and I can't wait to see how it pans out throughout the regular season and into the playoffs. If you're a Kings fan, let me know in the comment section down below, how do you feel about DeMar DeRozan joining your roster? I'd like to hear what you have to say. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until
All right, shout out to Flight Mike on that take right there. What do y'all have to say about everything, man? DeMar is an official Sacramento King. I was not expecting him to be a King, but that's what the NBA is all about. It always gives you the most unexpected. Does this make the Kings a first-round exit, still a playoff team, or a championship team?